If you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you also struggle with feeling like you are not good enough. Welcome to the party. However, nobody wants to be stuck at the same party forever. So today I wanted to share a couple things that I was recently reminded of that I think will be helpful in eventually getting us out. First one, shift your awareness elsewhere. I find that I tend to become more like hyper aware of my inadequacies when I am around people, whether that be like actually physically around people or even just like in my head, like mentally comparing myself to somebody. I start to really nitpick at my inadequacies and everything that's wrong with me. And your mind just becomes very like centered on you. So I think something that can be helpful with this is to try to shift that awareness outside of yourself, whether that be to your surroundings, like notice the sidewalk you're walking on, the architecture of the room that you're in, notice the aromas, the colors, I don't know. But then also the next step would be to kind of shift your awareness to the people around you, not to nitpick them or judge them, that's not what we're doing, but more so like to be curious about the other person, maybe trying to be aware of what their needs might be. For example, like in conversation, instead of focusing so much again on yourself and your inadequacies, trying to find ways to make them feel heard and understood and accepted. Or let's say you're presenting. I know public speaking is like really scary for a lot of people, myself included. And I remember in one instance, what really helped me at that time was to focus on the audience, like to stop focusing on myself and everything that can go wrong and how I'm not a good speaker and this and that, but instead to focus on the people in front of me. Like, how can I make sure I present this in a way that is interesting, entertaining, not boring? Trying to focus more so on how you can, serve others versus how horribly inadequate you are. Even with this video, having that mindset of like shifting my awareness off of myself and more so into making sure that I'm sharing something that is somewhat interesting or valuable is helpful. Second point, just accept that you're not good enough. It's so tiring to always have that thought of like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not cool enough, I'm not whatever enough. Like, okay then, you're not good enough. Like, that's fine. Let's just accept that and move on. If it is something that you can actively work on and improve on, then do that instead of always just focusing on like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. Like, do something about it. I'm telling this to myself as well. For example, I know I'm not that good at like hair or like face stuff or fashion, but those are things that can be improved. I have been trying to work on that. It's definitely a very slow process, but I have been trying to put in the effort to get better at that. But also in that time of getting better, trying to not beat myself up about not being good enough or not being where I want to be at. So that's the first thing. If there's something you can improve on that you're not good enough at yet, work on that. But then second part to this, like maybe it's not something you can improve at. Maybe it's your circumstances, your situation, your face shape, things that maybe aren't as easy to change. Instead of, again, beating yourself up for that, instead of beating myself up for that, what if we just said, okay, like this is me, this is where I'm at, this is my past, this is my life. What if that's okay? Like, what if that is enough? What if you don't need to be more than what you are now, than who you are now? Some of my favorite stories are people who aren't qualified or who aren't, logically speaking, like the right person to do that thing, but then that just makes it all the more like incredible. For example, The Lord of the Rings, David and Goliath, the tortoise and the hare, even, like things that maybe to us shouldn't logically work out or shouldn't logically end up with that result, like still does. And that's what makes the story that much more powerful. So maybe it's okay that you are not enough. Just do what you can with what you have. You never know, where life will take you. I'm gonna leave this quote up here that I read a couple months ago that I really liked, and that kind of ties in to this point. Let me know if that was helpful for you, or if you have any other tips or mindset shifts that you want to share that might be helpful. Heart, what's a good ending?